Hello everyone and welcome back to my channel. For those of you that don't know, I'm a 6-foot tall woman and I live in Manhattan, and I like making videos about what it's like being a tall woman who lives in Manhattan. I like being tall, and I think most tall men and women like being tall. At the same time, when you're a woman and you're taller than men and women, you do have some very unique challenges. So I wanted to come on here and say that tall women can be cringy, like very cringy. The tall women who keep saying, save the tall men for the tall women, you are cringy if you are one of those women. You are cringy. There is no saving tall men for tall women. Like, the guy is going to be with who he wants to be with. If a shorter woman decides not to date a tall guy because she wants to save him for taller women, that doesn't mean that he's going to go be with a taller woman. He might just pick another shorter woman. As a tall woman, you should have learned this in middle school, that you are an acquired taste. You're not going to be everybody's type. It's not the end of the world. There's always someone who will like you. It might not necessarily be who you like, and I know how that feels, but there's always someone out there that will like you. Every woman, no matter what trait that you have that's considered unattractive, no matter what characteristic it is, there's always a crowd of men that like that characteristic. It's not always a big crowd, but there's always a crowd, and that's one of the perks that come with being a woman. You might be an acquired taste, but there's always someone out there who's into you, because 100% of tall women are not single. I see tall women mostly with men that are within 1 to 3 inches of their height, taller or shorter. I see a lot of tall women with tall men. Like, it's not the end of the world. I would say the majority of them don't like tall women because they prefer the sexual dimorphism. But the small pool of tall men that do like tall women that want to be monogamous, like, the pool is small, but I know plenty of tall women that have found husbands within that tiny pool, including my own friends and family members. So saying save tall men for tall women, that's super cringy. It's super embarrassing. The guys are going to pick who they want. They're going to pick whoever they want. Just because they didn't pick, just because a tiny woman rejected them to save him for tall women, that still doesn't mean that he's going to pick you. Okay? Like I said, when you're a tall woman, you should have this figured out by now, that you're an acquired taste. You're not going to be everyone's type, just like how everyone isn't your type. You can't force yourself onto someone who doesn't want you. You can't force someone to be attracted to you. You just can't do that. You should have learned this. You should have figured this out like in middle school. I figured all of this out in middle school. That it's not necessarily advantageous for a woman to be tall or dark skinned or overweight. It's not the end of the world. There were still guys that liked me. I'm just saying, you're an acquired taste. Your pool of men is a little bit smaller than the other women's, but you still have a pool. And also, women who are considered the least attractive, their crowd of admirers is still bigger than the most attractive men, simply because you're a woman. So try to keep that in mind. So anytime a guy says he prefers average height women or short women, I see this a lot on TikTok. There'll be tons of tall women in the comment section. Oh, I see these videos, but then I see short women in the comment section saying, I don't get why the tall women are getting mad. Why are they lashing out at short women? So as a tall woman, I know that it stings a little to hear someone say they prefer average height women or short women. But number one, just because someone made a TikTok video about their preference, that doesn't mean that they're actively insulting you, because you have a preference too. You prefer men who are taller than you. That doesn't mean that they're actively insulting you. I know that it stings a little, it might pinch a little bit, and you take it personally because we're used to people beating us down. And someone saying that they don't like tall women, that's not beating us down. That's not what I'm talking about. Like, we're used to people going out of their way to be hostile towards us and to be nasty to us. For those of you that don't know, men and women of every height that wish they were taller use tall women as a punching bag. Like, they like to tear us down and just go out of their way to be nasty to us and belittle us and go out of their way to just get aggressive with us unprovoked, because A, we're a small percentage of the population, B, we're women, and people feel short next to us. Even when they're taller than us, they feel short next to us. So they lash out at us because they're not as tall as they want to be. So rather than acknowledging that they have a Napoleon complex and that they're insecure, they lash out at us and use us like we're a punching bag. This is something that tall women live with. And then there's people that think we look like models. They think we look like athletes. They don't understand that just because someone looks like a model or an athlete, that does not mean that they have the lifestyle of a model or an athlete. That doesn't mean that they have access to what models and athletes have access to. Like, why would you think that somebody who works a 9 to 5 has access to the same things that a multimillionaire supermodel has access to just because they have the same physique? They look alike, but they're not alike. They're not in the same line of work. Normal tall women do not have access to the things that the models and the celebrities and the multimillionaire tall women have access to. We don't have access to the same things just because we look alike. But anyways, I know that sometimes when men say they like short women or they like average height women, like sometimes when they do that, there are moments where they'll say it in front of us to make a jab at us, and they do that intentionally. But again, that's them being insecure. In those moments, I can understand you getting upset if they're intentionally doing it to upset you. I've had that happen to me once or twice. Actually only once. Only one time did a guy purposely say in front of me, I prefer women with this body type. But the guy that said that was 5'9" with dad bod, like the type of men that I'm 0% attracted to. I mean, the majority of men fit that description, but I'm 0% attracted to them. I don't care what they like. Because remember, they're not my targeted audience, so I couldn't care less what they like. My targeted audience is tall men who like tall women that are in their 30s or 40s and are financially stable. That's my targeted audience. Anybody outside of that demographic, they're not within my targeted audience. I don't care what they like. Appealing to them doesn't even matter. It's not relevant. Anyways, sometimes guys will say that in front of us just to insult us. It's only happened to me once, but it does happen. In those moments, I can see you being offended because they are trying to make a jab at you. I mean, I feel like men who are unattractive go out of their way to be nasty to tall women more than everybody else does. Like, if I'm being honest, men who are 5'9" with dad bod show aggression towards us. I'm sorry, men who are 5'9" show aggression towards us more than everybody else. And the more pronounced their dad bod is, the more aggressive they are. And obviously, like, that hobbit-like build, that 85% of men have, I'm 0% attracted to it. It does not bother me that they don't like women like me. It doesn't bother me at all. I'm 0% attracted to them. I don't even feel like I'm in the same dating pool as them. So it's usually, I feel like it's them going out of their way to get nasty with us more than everybody else does. Tall men don't go out of their way to get nasty with me. Like, the ones that don't like tall women, they usually actively avoid us, which I appreciate because they're not actually bothering me. But men who are 5'9" go out of their way to get nasty with tall women while refusing to stay away from us, like simultaneously, while refusing to not come near us and not speak to us. Like, they beeline over to me at top speed the split second they see me, as if I'm a celebrity. And I'm like, have you noticed that it doesn't happen the other way around? Who's a celebrity and who's the fan? Who's the deity and who's the worshiper? That's embarrassing for them, but they don't seem embarrassed. But anyways, someone saying they prefer short or average height women, it might sting a bit. Someone saying that they prefer this group and, you know, they purposely say it in front of you to insult you. Of course it stings, but everybody has their preference. You can always say it back to them, because I feel like unattractive people, for me, unattractive men go out of their way to get nasty with me in ways that attractive men do not. So if you have to make a comment about somebody's height or about their dad bod, go right ahead. Don't hold back. It's also not okay if you do this. I'm not saying all tall women do this, but if you do this, it's not okay. It's not okay to lash out at like smaller women just because men like them. They don't have control over the way they naturally look. They don't have control over who likes the way they look. And don't get me wrong, I'm not calling shorter women innocent. I've had short men and short women pick fights with me my entire life and then go and tell their friends that I was bullying them, and everybody automatically believes that I was just because I'm tall. I'm not like infantilizing them. I'm not saying they're totally innocent. I've had them pick fights with me my whole life literally because they want my height. And I'm not saying women want to be 6 feet, but I'm saying the people, they see the tall, slender physique and they wish they were taller and slimmer, because, you know, a lot of average height women and short women, they have issues with their weight. And when you're really tall, it's easy to be really slim. And I know some tall women are overweight, but like when you are a slender, tall woman like I am, people, men and women that are shorter than you will get nasty with you unprovoked. You're supposed to look deformed, and yet here you are, statuesque and whatnot. Your dad was probably built that way too, which is why you look like that. And they'll get nasty with us. So I'm not calling shorter women totally innocent. I'm just saying when they get attention that you're not getting, you can't get mad at them. They don't have control over how they look. They don't have control over who is attracted to them. I want to add something. Most tall women are the product of a short woman and a tall man. I think you ladies are forgetting that. Most of us have tall dads and short moms. If your dad picked a tall woman, how tall do you think you would be? My father is 6'9". My mother is 5'6". I am grateful to God that my dad didn't marry a tall woman. I'm glad he didn't. I'd be even taller than 6 feet. I like being 6 feet, but at the same time, it comes with some very unique challenges that other people don't understand. It's like we have challenges that we kind of have to go through alone. And I mean, you know, you get used to it. You learn how to deal with certain things. But at the same time, it's just something that we have some pretty unique challenges that other people don't understand. And I think my life would be even more difficult if I were any taller than 6 feet. So I'm glad my dad did not marry a tall woman. I'm glad he didn't. My mother's mother is somewhere between 5 feet and 5'4". And then my mother's father was 6'4", which is how my mother ended up 5'6", and her brother ended up 6'2", when my mother's family, they all range from like 4'8" to 5'2". They're all like really tiny. I think my mother's nickname was Little Bit because she was like 4'8" or 4'9". But they all married, you know, my mom and my grandma, and I think my mother's mother as well. They all married men over 6 feet. So that's how I ended up very tall and very slim. I love it over here. I love being tall and slim. I wouldn't want to have any other body type. At the same time, I like being tall, but I wouldn't want to be any taller. It just comes with a lot of unique challenges. They do kind of wear you down a bit, but they're challenges you deal with throughout your lifetime. So if my dad picked a taller woman, I can't imagine how tall I would be. I have tons and tons of sympathy for women who are taller than I am. Like, I have tons of sympathy for them. So look at it that way. The universe has its way of keeping things balanced. I mean, do we want a whole population full of giants? Do we want an entire population full of little dwarfs? I don't know. I don't think that would be healthy. I think really tall men liking really tiny women, if you look at the grand scheme of things, is a good thing because it keeps, you know, average height regulated. Like nature wanted the majority of men to be 5'9". Nature wanted the majority of women to be 5'4". So it makes sense that really tall men and really tiny women pair up because he's very tall and probably needs to water his genes down, and she's short and probably wouldn't mind, like, you know, adding some height into her gene pool. So my dad's tall genes dominated almost every gene pool that they've entered. But none of my nieces and nephews, I don't think any of them are going to end up being as tall as I am. Well, the boys, some of the boys are going to be pretty tall, but the girls, they're going to be tall, but I don't think they're going to make it to 6 feet. And I don't want them to. Again, I like being 6 feet, but life is a little easier as a woman when you're not 6 feet. Bottom line, stop being cringy. It's not impossible for you to find a tall guy who likes tall women. As I mentioned many times before, I'm exactly 6 feet. My last boyfriend was 6'4". My sister's 6'2". The guy she just married is 6'3". I have a sister who's 5'11". Her long-term boyfriend was like 6'4", 6'5". He wanted to marry her. It was her who didn't want to marry him. They have a son who's 6'4". My other sister's 5'11". Her husband is 6 feet. They got divorced. It was her who left him, not the other way around, but she had a good reason for leaving him. They have 2 sons who are 6'4". I have a friend who's 5'10". Her husband is 6'1". My boss's boss, I think she's like 5'10". Her husband is 6'3". I have a friend who is 6'1", and her boyfriend is 6'3", and they have a daughter together. So, and if you go on the Upper East Side of Manhattan, lots and lots of 6 feet tall women and their over 6 feet husbands. I went to the Metropolitan Museum of Art. I go there here and there. I went there, it was either last summer or the summer before that. And I can get there, it's maybe 25 to 30 minutes away from my apartment. I think maybe 25 minutes away from my apartment. And within the 25 minutes that it took me to get there from my apartment, I think I counted 10 women that were my height. And almost all of them were with men that were taller than them. And then also the tourists that come from Europe that like to wander around Manhattan, the women who are my height, they're always with men that are taller than them. Of course, that's European culture, which is different than American culture. So the pool of tall men that like tall women that want to be monogamous, I mean, the pool is pretty tiny, but I know plenty of tall women who have still found husbands within that little tiny pool. Don't blame the shorter women for the guys liking them. The women can't control who likes them, and also the guys can't control who likes them. So just, you know, focus on tall men that like tall women. Obviously, like, you can't force yourself onto someone who doesn't want you. You don't want to do that because it comes off as aggressive, and we already get labeled as aggressive simply because we exist. But look for people who like you, and please just disregard people that don't. Okay, leave me your thoughts in the comment section below. Goodbye.